The clock is ticking on the future of the Gateway Tunnel project. It runs out of money at the end of this week unless President Trump reinstates funding for it.
He terminated that project in October, and before the money starts flowing again, he wants something in return, which is more money for ICE. New Jersey Governor Mikie Sherrill, she is joining us now to explain the impact this will have not only on New Jersey, but on the entire Northeast and the action that is now being taken to try to prevent this. Governor Sherrill, great to see you.
Nice seeing you.
So this could potentially all come to a halt this Friday, right? So it's just the last couple of days before that deadline. What are you hoping is going to happen now with this new legal action that you are taking with the Gateway Tunnel?
I'm hoping the money gets released, as the federal government is legally required to do. As we've seen, every time Trump gets involved, costs go up and everyday Americans suffer. And we're seeing that again here. There are about 1,000 people on the job. Those jobs are at risk when the money drives up Friday if something is not done. That could lead to almost 100,000 jobs in the region on the Gateway project. We could see about $20 billion in economic impact in the region. So a lot of good coming from the nation's biggest infrastructure project, a complicated project building big things here in the region, which we're so excited about. But unfortunately, the president is playing political games as usual. So moving the goalpost.
Yeah, and this is going to have a ripple effect. It's not just going to be the Northeast. It's going to be an effect across the whole country, wouldn't it be?
It really would be. This is the heaviest use rail in the nation. It's a strategic choke point in the Northeast corridor. We know this is an area of the country with about 20% of the nation's GDP, and it's an everyday issue. So it's not just about the people working on the Gateway project. It's also about the commuters that work in the city that go back and forth every day, almost 200,000 people from New Jersey. It's about getting home in time to pick your kids up from daycare or to go to a soccer game or sing along at school or to make dinner. All of these impacts have that ripple effect, as you said, and this is a really bad decision by the president.
So congressional Democrats, right, from New York and New Jersey sent this letter to the president asking for those funds to be unlocked. You've been doing that for quite some time, asking for the funds to keep flowing, but no Republicans actually signed that letter. You mentioned the moving of the goalpost. Do you see this as being used as a bargaining chip, and what is the bargain?
Well, I mean, the Republican Party has just become the party of Trump, so we haven't seen any Republicans willing to stand up for the people they serve if it's a choice between doing that or doing whatever President Trump wants. So that's sort of a lost cause, and that's why the fight is really, I think, right now in the courts and with strong leadership here in the states. And I'm willing to stand up and say, no, this isn't right for the people of New Jersey. That is who I serve. Those people are who I serve, and it's jobs, it's our economy, it's families, it's commuters. It is all of the things that impact the region so heavily. And it's illegal for the president.
Governor, what does
these are funds Congress has denoted for the project.
What does the president, do you think, what does he want in return? Is it DHS vote moving forward to reopen the government? What do you see as the bargaining chip?
It moves. The goalposts move with this president. It's whatever he wants that day. And so that's why we're in court, because initially New Jersey was following the federal mandates, not our state mandates, the federal mandates on hiring, which the president didn't like, so was saying he was going to withhold funds for that. Now it happens to be the problem du jour for the president. Yeah. So he's talking about DHS funding, but the goalposts keep moving.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's illegal. Yeah. He needs to release those funds.
And then on top of that, though, this project is also under compliance review, right, by the Department of Transportation. So do you feel like they're waiting on that, too, and using that as a delay tactic?
This is not the first time this has happened. In the first Trump administration, I was constantly talking to the Department of Transportation because the president, again, was attacking this project. And they were constantly moving the goalpost and on environmental reviews, which we had completed, or other ways, and they were saying they didn't have the paperwork, which was untrue. So this is kind of a normal situation with the chaos of the Trump administration. And again, when they engage like this, costs go up. If we have to stop work, this could get to the point where we're paying $1 million a day and renting heavy equipment, tunnel boring equipment that's not being put to work, and paying fees because our contracts are lapsing. It's typical. Costs go up and every day people get hurt. That's what I'm fighting.
All right, we'll see what happens on Friday with the lawsuit. But Governor, while we have you here, I have to ask you about what played out in Jersey City and Hoboken. The video widely circulated now of a city council official, kind of going up to an ICE agent saying, "Where's your warrant?" He goes, "I don't need to give you one, bro." And so I was curious to know what your course of action is for some of these ICE raids we're now seeing play out in major cities in New Jersey.
That is not true. They need a warrant. And so we are pushing out to people across the state to make sure they know their rights when dealing with these types of police officers. But make no mistake, ICE is acting outside its federal mandate, which puts them outside any sort of federal protections for their work. They are acting as a secret police force loyal to the president and, as you heard, not the Constitution. Their training is suspect. The training that's going on in back rooms that we are hearing about, of things like you heard that ICE officer say that they're not going to follow the Constitution, that is not the law of the land. It's certainly not the law here in New Jersey. I am also going to make sure they are not staging their raids from state property, and that's why we are opening up a portal so that people can upload those videos so we can track what they're doing in our state, because they right now are trying to act outside of accountability. They're wearing masks. They're not wearing any insignia. They are changing license plates when they pick people up.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the norm. It is not legal. And we are going to fight hard to make sure we're protecting people in this state.
And just real quickly, what are you advising folks to do then if they are approached by folks who say they are ICE agents?
Get out your cameras. Get out your phone cameras. Make sure that you have this. We hear that there are some possibility for ICE agents wearing body-worn cameras, but I don't think that's going to end it, because what we would need then is access to that video. And right now, ICE has been saying that they're unaccountable to the people, that they are, like I said, taking loyalty oaths to the president. This is a secret police force. We need all citizens of this state to be reacting in a way that protects all of their community members.
All right, Governor Mikie Sherrill, appreciate your time this morning. Keep us posted on what plays out in court this week about Gateway, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?